Welcome to GameGorgon. My name's Indigo.
And I'm Krug.
And we're about to sit down and listen to Krug talk about ray tracing.
That's me, man. This is going to be technical, a little bit technical, but it's super interesting and it pertains to gaming very directly, especially the future of gaming, because it's going to make them look gorgeous.
You had me at gorgeous, which was the last word you said.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know what ray tracing is, I mean me like a couple hours ago, ray tracing is a process by, okay, I have to read this because I can't remember an accurate description off the top of my head. Ray tracing is a rendering technique that traces the path of light, called a ray, that simulates the effect each object in the ray's path would have on the quality of the light and the appearance of the objects.
So it's like a mirror.
Yeah, it's good for rendering things like mirrors. Things that are reflective or things that diffuse light in a very specific way.
Okay.
Because some things just like absorb a ton of light and there's barely any noticeable like reflection, right? So those things, ray tracing isn't really important because the ray will reach that object and then stop because it's been mostly absorbed. But for things like mirrors or cars with like big shiny metal exteriors, and for things like water, ray tracing is really cool because it allows those objects to very accurately reflect the environments around them. I think the best example from a gaming perspective is television screens. So if you look at Fallout, for example, you can find television screens in a lot of different places, but if you look at the screen, it's just a gray nothingness, right? And you know, you might be able to say, oh, it's dirty because it's Fallout. Fine, whatever, but just think about television screens and games in general. And then look at this television screen, which is actually reflecting the world around it, and just how much better that looks. It's so good. Like it's what it should look like, right, in real life. And that's the thing about ray tracing, is in those situations, it makes it look so much more realistic, right? The problem is that ray tracing is not easily predicted, right? So if you have an environment and you're not using ray tracing, the environment, you can very easily pre-calculate like what things are going to look like based on their location. Ray tracing is difficult because you have to calculate more bouncy things that you don't know if it's going to hit this part of this object, it's going to go off in this direction, but if it hits this part of this object, it's going to go off in this other direction. And that's going to affect the outcome of your overall product. So you can't really do a lot. You just kind of have to have a lot of horsepower working on processing those things, which is why this technology isn't used in gaming very often today. At least live. Sometimes, you know, you'll pre-render cutscenes with ray tracing and stuff like that, but that's because you could do it at the studio. But we wouldn't be talking about it if there wasn't something exciting. Supposedly, because of new technology being implemented by NVidia and by Microsoft, this might be coming into live rendered games soon. All right, so you might be bored now. This might be a little too dry, a little too technical. So watch this video and tell me that doesn't look amazing.
What's the story with all the elevators lately? I heard Kylo Ren destroyed the one over in D sector.
If you ask me, who's ever in charge of this place should be transferred to Hoth. What?
And then realize the fact that this video is 100% rendered in Unreal Engine 4 live, not pre-rendered, not something that, you know, a $1 jillion computer did. It's still a pretty expensive computer, but I've never seen a game look like this before.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to see that happening in my home and being able to do that on a computer that's affordable.
Okay, maybe that last part's gonna be a little difficult. So the two technologies involved here are DirectX 12 and NVIDIA RTX. So DirectX 12 is really easy for you to get. DirectX 12 is a Microsoft technology. Almost all of you have DirectX installed on your computer already. It's gonna update and you're gonna use it and it's gonna be great. It's just gonna support ray tracing in version 12. NVIDIA side's a little different. That's a hardware change. You're gonna have to pay money for hardware that supports it. Right now, the only architecture that supports RTX is Volta, and the only Volta card is the Titan V, which is $3,000. He doesn't even have enough Monopoly money to afford it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure my whole entire tower costs less than $3,000.
Yeah, a lot of people probably are in that boat too. I'm pretty sure I'm in that boat too, and my tower's not cheap. That's why I don't think this is necessarily coming in the near term.
Sure.
I don't think this is going to be something that developers want to spend a lot of time and effort on if they're not going to be able to sell it, right?
Like why spend all the extra time and energy creating these models and these environments that are going to behave that way when you're going to have less than 1% of your audience actually seeing it?
Yeah, and he touched on something really important, actually. One of the things that's really important for ray trace rendering, at least now, like not doing it live, doing it, for example, for movies, is you need really, really high quality models. And so it's not just an increased burden to render, it's not just an increased burden like hardware-wise. You also kind of have an increased burden on your animators and on your designers and the people making the game, because they need to work with that technology in mind. They might not be able to just keep their same workflow. They might have to make changes to the way they run their studio.
All in all, probably take more time as well.
Yeah, more time and maybe even they need to hire more people. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like it's a studio by studio thing. The point is, that's a lot of stuff, even at the most basic form, to justify doing without a large audience, right? Like if I were a business owner, I'd be like, not yet. Like this is really cool and maybe we can play with it, but I'm not interested in putting this into a game until I know that I'm going to be able to say, most people will experience this and show them ray trace footage.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Like you don't want to, show them off ray tracing and then you get home and it looks like you're running it on a potato.
Yeah, because you're going to get, Reddit's just going to eat your face off. Like that would be just the worst thing.
All right, everyone, let us know, did you stay awake through the whole entire thing? If you didn't, don't leave a comment. If you did, tell us.
No, if you did, whatever drool and like cheek typing you did, just hit enter. Just do that. Just send us that.
While you guys are down
Hold on, no, you can't just ask that one question. Let me know, do you think ray tracing is going to be in games live in the near future, or do you think that we're going to see it maybe in cutscenes and other places where it doesn't directly affect gameplay in the short term, and like very long term we'll see it in actual gameplay? Because that's what I think. Let us know that in the comments below.
That's if you made it through.
No, you're allowed to just go back and watch the video again.
Make sure to hit the like button as well as hit the subscribe button so it can unlock this really awesome button. It's called the bell icon.
I don't know why they have such a button unlock such a great button.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the you got the nuclear weapon button. All that, you got to flip the switch to prime
the subscribe is the prime.
Yeah, it's the primer.
And then you gotta.
Yep, exactly. Make sure to do that. And after you guys do that, make sure to hit us up on Twitter and say hi to us. My name's Indigo, and you can get me at IndigoQT.
And I'm Krug. You can get me at KrugQT on Twitter. You can also reach both of us at _QueueTimes. We've been GameGorgon. We will see you guys tomorrow.
GameGorgon.
GameGorgon.